Sup YouTube, Captain Fox here, back again with another video, and today we are doing a Star Wars What If that is a very weird one, for sure, definitely for sure, and yeah, I think it's also going to be really cool. I kind of thought about it for a little bit, and I don't know, it just sounded cooler the more I thought about it. It's called What If the US Joined the Galactic Republic during the time of World War II? And it's gonna be a weird one for sure. It already sounds weird as I'm talking about it, and I kind of don't want to do it at first because I didn't think it would sound right to mix real world stuff, like the real world stuff, with fiction. But I don't know, something about it that just sounded cool, and the more I thought about it, the possibilities, I don't know. But yeah, so remember, this is only a fan fiction, so don't go lose your heads, okay? But yeah, so if you like World War II and Star Wars, I bet you're going to enjoy this immensely. And yeah, let's get right to it. So this is during the time of the Clone Wars, during the exact same time where World War II is happening, but the Americans aren't in it yet. Now, the Republic is at war with the Separatists, and during this time, they're not doing so well. The war is not going in their favor, and they need help, but they don't know exactly who to turn to. All the allies throughout the galaxy are not exactly as strong, and their armies are not strong, and it's not good for them. So during this time, they resort to something else. They resort into hacking into the Separatist systems to try and listen in the radio, but they pick up on a different radio scanner, one that comes from a distant planet unknown to the Republic, and it's called Earth. And during this, they end up picking up on a Japanese radio system. And as they listen in, they're speaking in different languages, but due to droids being present, they're able to decode the language and see it in English. It says something about an imminent attack on Pearl Harbor, and this is something that's very interesting to the Republic, considering they say the word Americans. This is very intriguing to the Republic, as they have heard of the Americans and their progress, but they're not really well known throughout the galaxy. It's more like just an Earth thing, but they're known. And this catches the attention of the Republic. Maybe if they end up saving these people, maybe they can join them and help them in their war. That's if the Republic can stop this imminent attack. So they plan to stop the Japanese before they can actually commence the attack on Pearl Harbor. But they get there a little bit during the attack. When they arrive there, they can see that the attack is already underway and ships have already been destroyed. It is not looking too bright for the Americans. But as the Americans start trying to fight back, they look to the skies and see not just fighter planes of the Japanese, but strange crafts, big ones in fact, big humongous ships coming out of the sky. These are Republic Venators coming to rescue the Americans down on the ground, as they send their fighters to shoot down the Japanese fighters. This immediately catches the Americans off guard and are completely shocked. They don't know anything about the Republic or any of this stuff, mainly because they're a distant planet. They don't know anything about what's out there in the, galaxy and stuff like that. They're just, here on Earth. So when they see this, they don't know what to think, but they decide to return back to the fight, seeing that they're actually seem to be helping them. And as the fight keeps going, it's quickly wrapped up due to the overwhelming powers of the Republic. And as the battle ends, the damage has already been done, but it has been lessened. It's not as devastating as it was in real life. In this fan fiction, it's different. It's been, salvaged. A lot of lives have been saved and not too many have been lost. So of course, this reaches all the way to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the current president of 1941. This is extremely shocking to him, of course, to the American people, and, of course, to Japan, because they literally got wiped out just like that, and are completely surprised that this even happened. Now, with this happening, the Republic decides to make an alliance with the Americans and go to meet personally with their president. The president is surprised by this offer, but decides to take it, seeing them as peaceful. They have come to them in peace and decided to help them on their war if they decide to help them with theirs. and the peace treaty has been made, and the Republic are now of the Allied forces. So, of course, the Americans get involved in the war, and, they go against Japan and help the British with their war against, Germany. So, this is now a war where the Republic is now involved, and World War II would, wrap up a lot more faster with advanced technology and, the Venators and whatnot, and the clone troopers. So, with this war going down, the Pacific War will be pretty easy to take, with the Republic forces being side by side with the American Marines. And a lot of these, islands that the Marines take in real life, a lot of them wouldn't need to be taken, considering they would have the Republic would have the firepower of the Venators to literally just sink the islands, like literally, just shoot down, firepower, island sunk. But the Philippines would be easily overwhelmed and taken by the Marines and the clone troopers, freeing the people who have been captured there and whatnot. Japan invasion easily would be done. So, and then they would focus their attention on Germany. Germany, seeing the ultimate firepower of the Republic, would eventually end up just surrendering, because, well, even they know they can't beat aliens, okay? that they're not gonna stay in a fight like that, okay? They're already up, their backs are against the wall with Russia coming. You're done. So, and of course, with this being done, let's just say, Hitler got captured. Okay, let's just go with that. So, yeah, so with that war done, the Americans, of course, they agreed to help the Republic with their war against the separatists. Now, as the war happens, they are surprised to see that the Republic has made starships for them, like literal ships for the Americans with their logo on it. These ships are, of course, being allied with the Americans. They've given some of their Venators and technology to them to help them go into space and fight combat with them. Of course, giving them some spacesuits so they can actually breathe in space, and giving them advanced technology for their planes and tanks. So this is a big thing for the Americans. This is really big. And, of course, we're going to ally with them. So the Clone Wars happen. Yada yada yada, battles happen a lot more differently, but won and fought really quickly. Now, the Battle of Coruscant happens, and of course the Americans show up, help them, and buy time for, Obi-Wan and Anakin to save the Chancellor and whatnot. Now, this is where our story really, gets started and when things really happen. So, of course, with everything going on, the Chancellor doesn't really see the Americans as a threat. He just thinks that they will go along with whatever, goes on, and he says about, the Jedi and whatnot. So, of course, the Americans make allies with the Jedi as well. The Jedi are peacekeepers, and the Jedi also help the American people, not the American people, but the American troops win battles, because they also have them as Jedi generals as well. So, this is very interesting. And remember, these troops are not the clones. They don't have inhibitor chips, so they can think freely on their own. So, of course, the usual events of Revenge of the Sith play out and happen. And then, when Order 66 comes down, the Americans are present with the clones at Utapau and at some of the battles in Magritte, because remember, they're still allies with them, and they still have to help them win their war against the Separatists. Now, this catches the Americans completely off guard when they see the clones turning on their Jedi generals. This is completely confusing them. They are caught off guard and don't understand what's going on. And of course, seeing this, they start turning on the clones, gunning them down. As the clones turn on them, start gunning them down. So, of course, with this strange phenomenon going on, it of course gets to high command of the US Army. Of course, Eisenhower hears about this and is confused because he's getting reports like this galaxy-wide. It's confusing. It doesn't make any sense to why the clones would turn on their Jedi generals when they're allies with them. Now, with the Americans not knowing anything about Order 66 or about the Sith or really about anything of the Force, they start wondering what's going on. They see this as acts of treachery in trying to rescue the Jedi, and are trying to get in contact with the Chancellor. But something is going on during this time. The HoloNet shows that the Chancellor is saying that the Jedi tried to stage a coup, and of course, the rise of the Galactic Empire. This is completely frightening to the President, This does not make any sense to why they would be doing something like this. It doesn't make any sense to why the Jedi would stage a coup. It doesn't make any sense at all. And he begins to wonder whether if they chose the right side. But nothing is said, and he pulls the Americans out of the war since the Clone Wars is over. And that pretty much means that they're no longer allied with them. So with the war wrapped up, a year passes as the Empire's reign begins to grow through the galaxy. It begins to show tyranny and oppression to the people. It's no longer the Republic. It's no longer the democracy that they once served. It's now become something different. Now with the Sith ruling over the galaxy, it is turning into more of chaos than it had ever been before. The Americans, of course, catch wind of this, considering some of the planets that are under American territory. They managed to make an agreement with the Republic that some planets that are taken by the Americans are under American territory. So a lot of these planets are occupied by Americans for their protection and peace. But there's something going on. Imperial soldiers start swarming the places and, taking over planets one by one. Of course, this catches the attention of the president as he begins to wonder what exactly is happening. He's already put up with the tyranny of the empire for a while, wondering if they join the right side, but with this new development, it's of course obvious that something needs to be done here. Now, with technology that they do have the weaponry and of course, the men to actually go to war with the empire. But they don't really want to, be considering they've already lost too many already. It's not good to go to war with an enemy that has more superiority, if anything, considering they have more troopers than they do. It's because of the clone factory on Kamino. But then they of course catch word of Kamino being destroyed by the Galactic Empire. And this of course raises concern, and of course more only gets worse as the Empire reign and influence grows more throughout the galaxy, causing more destruction and families being ripped away. It gets to the point where they know the US has to step in. The US has to step in at this point. They are allies with the Republic. Well, the Republic, but not the Empire. They don't know anything of what's going on. They don't understand to how the Empire changed their agenda. They're saying that the Republic was dead and saying that the Jedi had staged a coup, and now that the Empire was reigning to bring more security and order to the galaxy. The galaxy did not need order, it needed freedom, and that's what exactly the Americans stood for during this time. This is still in the 1940s. Like I said, the wars have ended a lot sooner under the Americans and the Republic. So this is still in the 1940s where the Americans are, we're all about the patriotic stuff, you know what I mean? So, of course, we get involved and start attacking facilities and attacking worlds to free captured people. And we've come to find out that there is more than meets the eye. The Empire is not only just capturing civilians, but experimenting on them and clones, and now replacing the clones with stormtroopers, calling them the New Era. This is completely frightening to the Americans, knowing full well that they're going to have a problem with the Empire. The Empire is going to see these explosions, these attacks as acts of treachery because, well, how would they not? After everything that they've pretty much been through, they're gonna, go against the Americans. They're gonna conquer the world. They're gonna conquer their world. Earth. It's it's a galactic empire. Okay, so basically, the Americans have to stop the Empire before, of course, before they take over. And of course, the rebellion will be born, and the rebellion will join with the U.S. as the war goes, as the galaxy goes into civil war. Well, not civil war. Basically, it's kind of like civil war, but not really. It's not really a civil war. It's more like a war of just war again. So, but basically, it goes into I guess we can call it World War III at this point, because America's at war with our galaxy war. We can call it that, galaxy war. So the whole galaxy is at war with the Empire. It is trying to take the galaxy back, and the Americans team up with some Jedi, and of course a lot of the events from the original trilogy would happen but this time the Americans will catch wind of the Star Destroyer a lot more faster. Because remember, these are the Americans who have intelligence. They have, spies on the inside of the Empire, keeping watch and making sure that things are not going too crazy. We're trying to make sure they are one step ahead of the Empire at this point, but with spies also in their country. Now, this is concerning to the President as he begins to wonder if there are spies in their ranks, because somehow the Empire seems to know a lot of what they're doing, or sometimes know when attacks are happening, even though they should not know this. Of course, the spies are eventually sought out and imprisoned. So then that eventually obviously takes away the leverage the Empire has over the Americans. Now, the Americans are going toe to toe with the Empire. They're taking worlds and restoring freedom back to the galaxy. Jedi, of course, join in, and of course, the rebellion joins in. Now, Emperor Palpatine finds this very problematic. Of course, he didn't think they were going to be a real problem at first, but with this all going on, of course, he thinks this is a problem. And he sends Lord Vader to take care of it, like killing the president or something crazy like that. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, guys. That's crazy. That's nuts, bro. Like, that's nuts, okay? I love Roosevelt, okay? He was told he had to be a good president, okay? So in order to respect him, we're going to have something crazy just happen to Vader. His ship gets blown up or something wild by the U.S., okay? So how about we do that, okay? Let's respect my mans, all right? So obviously, they get into a big, huge fleet that's over the Earth, because America, of course, has that technology, and they have a huge fleet, a blockade over Earth, and it's so large that, the Imperials, they stand no chance, and Vader just blows up and dies in a Star Destroyer. So with this now in mind, it is, of course, war. It is no doubtably war. It is getting really insane as they are attempting to stage a coup and kill the president. Now, this is, of course, really ticking off the Americans. And now they're fighting with full force. They already were fighting with a lot of force, but now it's full-scale force, just full-scale war altogether. Freeing planets and freeing people. The people rise with the Americans, and even aliens start joining the American U.S. Army. And of course, like I said, the rebellion are with the U.S. and start joining into the U.S., trying to make them into the new republic. This is becoming different as the U.S. are no longer just known as the Americans, but people are starting to call them the New Republic. It's really interesting with this story. I just really like this story. I don't know. So as the war ramps up, the second Death Star is made, but destroyed on Endor. With really the power of the American people, and of course with the financing and being able to create these ships faster, capturing planets, shipyards, and making their own weaponry, it's really turning the tide of the favor with the Americans. In the original trilogy, not that many people were in the rebellion, mainly because it was like a small band of rebels, and people were scared to join. But the Americans are a U.S. army. They're a little army. And of course, a lot of people would be joining, a lot more than it would be in the original Star Wars trilogy. So a lot of people will be joining the American army. And of course, with the entire galaxy against the Empire, they stand really no chance. So pretty much they go down fighting. But they keep trying, you know what I mean? But during the siege on Coruscant, it becomes obvious to Palpatine this war can't be won. So he decides to try and just, escape. But he can't because there's a blockade. This is just a bunch of American ships over Coruscant, and you know what I mean? And they just light up the place. They just take everything down. So pretty much, they didn't stand a chance. And Palpatine is killed and gunned down in his office. Dude, this story is crazy, but yeah, he just gets gunned down and taken out by a bunch of Americans. Their bullets. The Force ain't stopping no bullets, bro. Okay, ain't no lightsaber gonna stop bullets. Those are bullets. That's the speed of light. That's the speed of sound. You ain't deflecting or stopping that, bro. So he gets taken out. And of course, the war ends. And now, not only has the Americans have won the hearts of the galaxy, but now have Coruscant under their hands, in their hands, and in their hands. Yes, I had to correct myself right there. In their hands. So they are now known as the New Republic. They're no longer known as the Americans. They're now known as the New Republic. And of course, this is bringing prosperous to the galaxy. As the galaxy sees that the tyranny under the Empire, there needed to be something different. There needed to be something that was pure, that had actual democracy. This was that time. Now, this is a very interesting story. If you guys really like this story, yeah, we guys dipped this story because as much as I did, but man, yeah, that was what if the U.S. joined the Republic in World War II? So, man, this was a weird one. I don't know if this story made much sense. Of course, it didn't make much sense. Nothing like this would actually happen. If it did happen, I think it would end a lot more differently. I mean, no doubtably, if we thought that no doubtably, like something like this, like Order 66 went down, we would definitely turn on them for sure. Like, no doubt. Like, you would be confused to why a bunch of clones are gunning down the Jedi generals, and you would attack them to, like, because they're not clones. We're not clones. The American people would not be clones. Literally, they're people. They don't have inhibitor chips. So like during that time, so it's kind of like yeah, you would turn on them. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this Star Wars what if, and it was more like a World War II what if at the same time. So yeah. Anyways, guys, if you want me to do more World War II what ifs, let me know. Because I could do that. That's not a bad idea to do that. So that would be kind of crazy. But yeah. So, peace out, everybody. God bless.